Well, we're going to go ahead and get started since I didn't realize it was after 7. Welcome, and for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Dave Keys, the high school band director. Kelly Martin is the other band director of the high school, and Amy Hansen is floating around here somewhere, the choir director. So we're going to do probably mostly a Q&A tonight, and but there are 3 forms. Well, there's 2 forms, I believe, and then one that has directions for every person that's going with us on the trip. That includes the student, and if you're an adult traveling with us, whether you're a chaperone or community member, we'll need that sheet. And it's a medical information sheet. Maybe we should get some pens to pass out.
They can't send them all out because if the student is on any prescription medication, that form has to be signed by a doctor.
Okay, so if you didn't hear that, if your student is on medication, a prescription medication, they will have to have that form filled out by their doctor. And right away I can see people going like, well, my kid's what if they get thrown on prescription medication 2 days before the trip? That happens. And we have to have a new form filled out. So that does happen. But, so if you can get those forms filled out, do we have a date set as to when we need them back?
Yep, it's in the handbook.
It's in the handbook. So Mrs. Hansen is going to, are you going to do the PowerPoint thing? Are you going to do something on the screen? Okay, so Mrs. Hansen is going to put her computer up on the screen and probably give you a quick breakdown of the itinerary. Right now we don't have the booklets ready to go out yet. There's still some things that are being tweaked and worked out. But I'm going to say up front right away that the amount of hours that Kelly Martin and Amy Hansen have put into this is amazing. It's very cumbersome. This whole Fastpass linking rooms thing is really, really cumbersome. I think Kelly told me she did 17
rooms in 3 hours.
in 3 hours. 17 rooms. We have 181 kids going on the trip.
179.
179 we're down to. 179, 3 directors, 19 chaperones, and 80 community members going on this trip. So we're pushing 300 people on this trip. And the amount of work that these two have put into this, I used to do this, and they've taken this on since we've been going with Progressive. Because when I used to do it, Phillips handled everything. So I would tell Jack Phillips, we need this, this, and this, and he would make it happen. But since Progressive does it, rather than pay a travel agent an exorbitant amount of money by doubling the cost of the trip or whatever, because that's what most travel agents will do, is they'll say the hotel's $110, but they'll charge us $220, because then they take the $110 themselves. And so we end up spending a whole bunch of money. Well, Amy does all of that, and then Kelly has taken a lot of that on too, so thank you. And I've heard some people say, wow, $1,100 is really expensive. I'm like, we just went and saw the big hole in the ground out in Arizona. Family of 4, and we drove there. We were there for 4 days. It was $4,000. I mean, it's expensive to travel. So now we don't pack lunches and stuff when we go. We're just like, hey, let's eat at this dive, and let's eat it because it's always, has something to do with the Food Network. But anyways, so I'm going to turn this over to Amy Hansen and stand in front of the camera because we're going to put this online. There's a lot of people that had like volleyball games or whatnot tonight, and so we're actually going to record this and put it online. So.
Oh, so I should stand here?
Right there. Look at
Hi,
that.
everybody. Does that camera make me look?
It's not the camera.
Okay. Wiggle our thingy. Thank you. Okay, so we are still working on the itinerary. So that's why we didn't print hard copies yet. We'll have hard copies for all of you, and then we thought we would put them online for families, and that way you could print just the pages that you want. And that way we're not wasting a lot of paper. Your kids will have a color copy to take along with, so they always know where we need to be and when we need to be there. And so we just thought we'd kind of go over a little bit of what we're going to do. And you guys can read it, so I don't want to waste all of your time tonight. But so we're going to have luggage check-in here at 3 to 6 on Friday after school. And so for people who've taken the trip, it isn't a surprise. We have the drug dogs come in, and we look for just anything that would hurt kids when we're on the trip and stuff. So I don't think we've ever found anything. The worst things we find are open containers of things, and we're very strict with kids. No fresh fruit. Some kids inject it with alcohol, so you can't bring fresh fruit on the trip. You can buy it once we're gone, okay, but you can't bring it along. No open containers. So if Dave's gonna get on the bus with an open water container, we'll take it and throw it away. You can buy it once we're gone, or you can bring a whole case of it closed. Okay, again, it looks like Coca-Cola, but it could be alcohol. And these are things that kids have done in other trips that we've learned from. So Friday night, we're gonna go through the suitcases. So basically what happens is, if I have 10 kids, I go through their bags and we put things, actually they're usually neater when we're done with them than when we started. So, it's just funny stories, you know, it's always like, hey, I got the guys, and it's like, awesome, clothes, and the food. So it's like they pack it together, they're very smart, but that way they have food to eat at the hotel and on the way back, okay? So that's the baggage check. And then I put on there, do your homework. And I know that seems silly, but we'll be really tired when we get back the next Sunday. And you have all day Saturday, unless you're a hunter, and you have Friday night when it's dark. Do your homework so that way when we get back you can just rest and kind of, you know, get your wits about you and be here on time Monday morning when we start school at 7:45. So
We'll be expected to be in school that Monday.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be here. So
We'll be
you know what I
here.
mean? Yeah. So we'll meet in the auditorium at 6 in the morning, and then at 7 we will head out. So they can bring a carry-on bag on the bus, and all they need are things that keep them comfortable and clean. So deodorant and a toothbrush, toothpaste,
Please.
comfy pants, yoga pants. I'm gonna wear yoga pants and a t-shirt with a sweatshirt, so that way if the bus is cold to me, I can layer up.
Can I wear yoga
can
pants?
sleep in it. I am being filmed right now. Whatever you want. Okay. But I mean, so something that's comfy. The last time we went, it was like 50 degrees when we got to the beach. So we look ahead and we'll tell the kids, hey, it's supposed to be cold when we're there. They still brought swimsuits. They still went in the ocean because they wanted to be able to say they did that. The majority just walked around the beach for a while. So we still have to find out the condition of Cocoa Beach
Yeah.
with the hurricane having gone through. We do know Disney's back open again. So that part we're, you know, but we're kind of just waiting to see, you know, what ended up happening. It's
The
still in
best-
the news, so.
The best of both worlds would be is if we could swim at Cocoa Beach and see some of the carnage that it left behind. That'd be very educational for the kids to see that. If Cocoa Beach is closed, we'll probably divert to Clearwater Beach on the other side, on the Gulf side, but we don't know that yet. So
Okay. And so then we'll get down there, and they only need stuff to sleep in, and then we make a stop about 11, 12 o'clock at night. They brush their teeth, put your deodorant on, get ready for bed, and then their kids are not allowed off the bus again. The bus drivers stop every 4 hours to switch. We don't allow them off in the night stop just because we don't want to lose any. So they have to use the restrooms that are on the bus and stuff like that. Okay? We'll stop for breakfast, get to Cocoa Beach, and then we'll have some lunch. Ron John Surf Shop is there, whatever. So they just kind of get to spend 2.5 hours. We'll head to the hotel, and we'll check in, and then we head to Planet Hollywood that night for dinner. Our group is so big, we have to have 2 reservations. So there'll be an early group and a late group that will be in there eventually when we have the itinerary completely finished. Who's early, who's late. So far, are we all good? All right, then Tuesday, we're gonna go to Universal all day, and then we will have supper together at Hard Rock. Yeah, Hard Rock Cafe. And then we'll head back, and the park closes at 9, so 10:30 lights out. Wednesday's our long day. The band marches at Magic Kingdom on Wednesday, and we're very lucky because that's also the day they have the extended park hours. So the kids really could be at Magic Kingdom from 9 in the morning until midnight. It's the only day that a park is open past 10 o'clock. So,
and just I want to interject here too, because this screwed up a couple people, because we were originally scheduled to march Thanksgiving Day. My plan was that we would be marching Thanksgiving Day at Magic Kingdom. Well, it turned out they said yes, Thanksgiving Day is fine, but they put us in Epcot, and I'm like, ugh. Not a real great venue to march in, so I called immediately and I said, is there another time available at the Magic Kingdom? He said, yes, Wednesday night. There's a 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock spot for you to march. And so we took it. And I know one family for sure was going to fly down Wednesday, and so they were going to miss that performance and their kids in the marching band. They were able to finagle their tickets and make that work, thank goodness. But anyway, so that's what happened with that. If you had questions about why did we go from Thursday to Wednesday, that's why. Because I wanted the kids to march down Main Street towards the castle and not at Epcot around the ball. So, even though it's a golf ball, it's a huge golf ball.
it's an educational opportunity. Okay, so, and then the choir's there on Friday, which is a great venue for the choir, actually. It's much better than the bands, but we didn't want the kids to have to spend Thursday at Epcot and Friday at Epcot. There's not that much room to do, so it really was a decision made in the best interest of your kids and giving them lots of time. So we decided we're going to allow them to come back as early as 10 o'clock if they're tired. We used to make them stay at the parks till they closed, but this time they all close at different times. So Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios tend to close about 7 o'clock p.m., So if you're there and we say come back when the park closes, we'll have kids at the hotel at 7:30. So we thought we'll all be at Magic Kingdom, and we want them there. We want them to watch the band if they're choir kids. So we're all at Magic Kingdom. If you're not a night owl and you want to come back at 10, we'll make sure we have some chaperones back there. But otherwise, they can stay until midnight when the park closes. Okay, and they'll get back about 12:30. Next morning, we head out. Park's open at 9. We're going to try to have all the kids out of the hotel at 9 o'clock. Let's go. All right, it's Thanksgiving. Those parks do fill up, and sometimes they close some of the parks. So they've already been told, whatever you want to do at Thanksgiving Day, it's your day, okay? And then they can head back once their parks are closed again. Some of them close at 7, so we'll have chaperones back at 7 o'clock, and then they've got the night. Note to your kids, and we'll tell them the same thing, they do offer a Thanksgiving dinner at our hotel restaurant. And Kmart had it last time and said it was awesome.
It's huge and delicious.
And it's like $10. So it's not unreasonable, and they get a $15 card for their meal that day anyhow for the afternoon or supper, you know what I mean? So it's a really good deal. The other change we made on this trip is we're getting them a mug. It's a refillable mug, so any meal that they have at the hotel, it's unlimited drinks. So if it's cold, they get hot chocolate when they get back. They can have juice in the bar, you know. So it was like $3 for juice every morning, and I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous. So it is a $17 mug that you guys are paying for. They get to keep the mug and drink as much as they want at the hotel. So in the end, it really is cost effective. And then that 10 and 15 that you paid for your kids if they eat it at the hotel is just food. So it seems to be a little better deal for them. Okay, Friday then, we start with our character breakfast. We have breakfast with Mickey and Minnie at Hollywood Studios, and then the kids actually, half of them will get a wristband for the Rock and Roller Coaster, and half will get a wristband for the Toy Story ride. We'll have to figure out who that is, because some of them want a Fastpass if they don't get the one they want.
Rock and roller coaster.
And then the park opens at 9, and our breakfast is at like 7 or 7:30. And so they take them right up to the front of the line, then they open the parks, and the kids are right there. So it's kind of a nice little win-win. And then we end the day for choir kids. Our Disney trip, as far as the vacationing part and the playing part, ends at 4 o'clock. And we have a 5-hour commitment that afternoon. The candlelight is a great opportunity, but it does take a lot of time. So we meet in Italy, which is back in the Worlds at Epcot, and then they take us to the secret passage, and we go backstage and have a rehearsal with the conductor. They actually feed them a sandwich meal, sandwich, chips, water, and a cookie, so that way they know every kid has had something to eat. Okay, and I will remind the choir kids, use your $15 that I give you for that day for lunch, or a late lunch, you know what I mean? Because you'll get a little meal from Disney, but the parks close at 9:30. So when we're done at 9:15, there really isn't time to spend it at Epcot. The hotel cafeteria is open, or the restaurant is open till midnight.
Do you
So they
know
couldn't
who
go
the star is this year? Yet?
Yeah, Stephen Curtis Chapman
Oh, okay. Whoever that
is
is.
our narrator. He's a Christian writer, Dave. It's okay. Sinner. Okay, anyways, no, I'm just kidding.
I knew who Gina Davis was.
Yeah. So there's a star who narrates our songs, so it's pretty cool. And there's 2 shows, so we're going to ask all the band kids to make sure they come and see one of the shows and support the choir. Sometimes there aren't a whole lot of seats available, but it's a mass choir event, so there's about 200 singers up there. 60-piece live orchestra. It's crazy. It's loud. It's very theatrical. The lights change. There's snowflakes falling. It's really, really cool. So it's a great experience even for band kids to watch professional performers. Mm-hmm. And this is what they do from that night. We're there opening night through December 30th. Because we wanted to see it on New Year's Eve when we went a couple years ago for a Gopher game, and it was done the night before. So I learned, Okay. And then we will get up at 6 the next morning, kind of get them packing and stuff. We'll actually get back to the hotel about 10 because the park's all closed then. So they'll have time to pack, you know, kind of get themselves ready. And we'll depart 8:30. We are going to be back at 10, according to the bus company, Sunday morning. So I think that's really great. We'll have breakfast down in the Madison area, DeForest, and about 7 to 8 o'clock, and we'll be back. So that way you have the rest of the day to get your kids a nap or, you know, do their laundry, which I know you're all really appreciative of. And so. All right, any questions? I talk very fast, so I apologize. Okay, start here.
Will we be able to use the school buses for those of us that have traveled down to get to Universal?
Yes.
And let's repeat every question so that the people watching
Can they use the school buses to go to Universal? Yes. Good question. Yep. There's an early group, and I'm going to take community first, and then that group will be leaving at 8:45 as well. And then there's a late group. We don't have a whole lot of extra seats on the buses.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yep, so that's why we'll have an early shift. But I know the kids want to be there when the park opens. So, and I MapQuested it. It's 20 minutes from the hotel to the front gate at Universal.
What's MapQuest?
So, yeah. Okay, next question.
You mean Google Maps?
The marching band students, do they have to pack their uniform, or will that?
Great question.
Good question. Will the marching band students have to pack their uniform? We actually, their uniform bags, we'll actually pack all those. We will go through those bags as well Friday night. And then that will all be locked in here Friday night. And then we will have some section leaders in band and she'll have some choir kids that will help the bus drivers load all that stuff in the buses from here onto the buses.
And the
Good question.
band uniforms will actually stay under the bus
Yep.
in their garment bags until Wednesday night. The bus comes backstage.
Yep.
They get dressed, we march, they get changed, the uniforms go back on the bus, and they don't use the bus again until we get home.
Super
Yep.
simple. And then
So-
the choir kids need black pants, black shoes, black socks. They'll have a handout that I give them probably next week. I'll put it online for you guys too. Closed-toed shoes. So basically, and then a white shirt. Can be a t-shirt. They give us a robe to wear. We wear yellow robes with yellow stoles, and we hold a candle. Battery operated, for those of you who are afraid of your child having fire, okay? And then they stand for an hour and they sing 14 memorized Christmas carols, and then we take a half-hour break, and then we come back and we stand and sing for another hour. So that's part of our experience. So there is a dress code that you have to adhere to, and then we leave, and it's crazy. It's like a dumpster. You walk by and you throw everything in there, and they're like, "See ya, bye." And as a costume person, I would never do that. You know, we'd hang them up and put them somewhere.
So what the band thing looks like then is they meet at the what is it? The Golden Oak Outpost. We go backstage, and like Kelly alluded to, the buses will be back there with our uniforms. And then when we're done marching, we'll march, do the parade route. And when we're done marching, we go back there into that same spot. They'll change. After we're done changing, the Disney people come out and say, "Rah, rah, wasn't that fun?" And go Team Disney. And then they take us back into the park. And that's pretty simple. And as I understand it, the parade, we are the parade. We used to march before the electric parade, but now, just like the band is the parade, we just march the route.
The electrical parade is gone.
Yep, they got rid of that.
And there may be a couple of bands. When we were there last time, there were 3 bands.
Correct.
Yes,
Yep.
there may be a few bands that go through, correct.
All at the
Yep.
same time.
There was a person that had a question back here.
How many drivers per bus on the way down?
Two. They drive for 4 hours, sleep.
Are they certified?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
By which company? By whom?
Progressive Travel.
That's the bus company we're
That's the
going
bus
with.
company we're going with out of Medford. Medford?
Spencer.
Spencer, same thing. Over the middle of the state.
And they're very meticulous. Like
Yes.
they have logging sheets, and they don't go over, and they have to rest for a certain amount of time. And
Yep.
so, they're wonderful. We really like them, and they're going to stay the whole week. So we have rooms for them. That's part of the deal. We don't buy tickets and meals for them, but we do have to supply their rooms. So, but yep.
The buses also have charging outlets down both sides for all of your children's devices. And then they also have, the best part that I think, is they have plugins for when they show a movie, instead of blaring it over the speakers, it's just like an airplane, you plug in if you want to watch it. So when you're driving down the road and the kids are watching a movie, it's dead silent in the bus, except for some bursts of laughter or fear when something jumps out at them.
And there's curtains on the windows.
Yes. So,
They're really nice.
I know Mrs. Ames had a question. Yes.
Approximately, what do you think we're spending money?
Approximately, what should you have for spending money?
We're kind of going to get to that, I
Are we
think.
gonna get to
It's
that?
okay. We can drop that way. I mean, it's fine.
Yep, yeah.
So there are going to be 4 meals before we get to the hotel. At least if your child eats breakfast, we're not stopping until lunch and supper on Sunday. Monday morning we'll have breakfast, and then we'll get to Cocoa Beach. So they need money for those. So if you have a kid who eats about $10 a meal, send $40. Also, we'll collect a $20 bill when they all walk on the bus. Every person, adults included, hands a $20 bill, and then when we get on the bus to come home, they all get handed a $20 bill. So that way, if they spend all their money at Disney, you're guaranteed that they'll have $20 for
That
the
has
ride
happened.
back.
We went on a trip, and the band boosters gave the kids $120 when they got on the bus. And we stopped at the first stop, and this kid had at the time, a Discman. I'm like, Adam, where'd you get that? I bought it at the gas station. I'm like, for how much? He's like, $110. I'm like, well, do you have more money than that? He's like, no. I'm like, you have $10 to eat, and you have 7 days left on the trip. I'm like, okay, so now, note to self. Collect money from children, and then give it back to them. So that,
Yeah.
Are they allowed to bring like
Sealed.
So that your food isn't going everywhere on the bus.
This is a great point. Now, are you talking about like when we check the
Snacks.
luggage?
Chex Mix. Not
No,
a
so
seal.
she's saying like, so if you buy a big bag of Chex Mix, can you put it in separate Ziploc bags?
No.
Nope.
Just have the Chex Mix not open, Ziploc bags in a separate container.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, if any food comes open during luggage check, we just eat it. So Oreos are
We do.
Oreos. We're not kidding. Oreos, licorice.
Doritos.
We're okay with all
We had
that.
a dad who bought the really big bags. Bless him. And well, I don't want her to have to eat the whole bag, so I put them in little ones. We were all like, oh, you guys! We're the winners. We're all like, here. We're all eating and watching. So because you don't know what's in it, you know what I mean? They could have. Yeah, we
Right.
probably nothing, but you don't know. So
Don't
we
know.
just say keep it sealed. Same thing with medications. So my kid needs to take vitamins. I really want okay, that's great, but come in a sealed container. Because otherwise it's really hard for our nurses and our staff to know what that is. The prescriptions have to come in a prescription container, and we'll get to the dates in the handbook as well on that. But so the reason that happens is because it's none of our business what prescriptions your kids take. We honestly don't read through the binder to see what they're on. I don't care, right? But if they get hurt, I care and need to know this kid's on a blood thinner or this kid's a diabetic. Or that's when that matters. So what happens is your prescriptions go to the office, and our nurses go through, and we get a little envelope for every day of the week. I'll use my daughter as an example. She takes high blood pressure medication to keep her from getting migraines. Not a big deal, okay? So they will put together, let's say Josie Hansen, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. I get handed an envelope. I don't know what I'm giving her, okay? But they know. I can look that up. What is this? It's supposed to be a little pill with the number 17 on it. Yep, that's what this is. It goes to the nurses have a lot of work that they put into the strip to keep your kids' medications and stuff confidential. Does that make sense? And then we'll hand it to them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and bedtime. Okay, and that's how we know that they got their medications and all that. They make a set of labels, and that's how they know they don't miss one. Does that make sense? But they need it in those original containers, and then when we get back, they get it. Now, with that being said, I do not want birth control. That is something that we let the girls have, so when we see that in their bags, when we do the baggage check, no one questions it. They have multiple reasons they use that's none of our business, okay? And we don't want to be responsible for getting that to anybody on time. All I'm saying, it's a magical place, people, okay? And then the other thing is inhalers, okay? Yeah, they got to carry that stuff with them. You know, there are certain things, and our nurses know that, yeah, they got to have that. An EpiPen, let them have the EpiPen, okay? I don't want to get a call, and when I'm on Tower of Terror, hey, she just got stung by bees, an EpiPen. Oh, okay, I'll be down in a minute. You know what I mean? So there are things they get to carry along with them, you know, that are obvious. So, okay. We do have a nurse going along on our trip. Do you want to stand up, Jessica? This is Mrs. Thompson, and she's a new nurse, and she's here tonight just to kind of learn about the trip. So we do have some kids with medical needs, so it's wonderful that the school district is going to pay her to come along on this trip. So if we have kids who do have health issues, we have someone who doesn't pass out at the sight of blood. Okay? All I'm saying, I will take good care of your kids. Unless they bleed. Okay, so that's what your trip paid for. Are there any other questions? Did you have another one, Terry? Oh, this one.
I had a question on Candlelight Processional.
Yeah.
They do not reserve.
Nope, you can't reserve seats unless you buy them. There's like a plan, you can pay for a meal and stuff, yeah.
But,
Did you hear that?
but because we have participants in it, they don't
Nope,
have a little section.
nope,
for us.
mm-mm.
So,
Yep.
I don't know if anybody's been there, but you literally should probably be lining up an hour before.
Yeah, you could even watch the 6:45 and be in line and then have a spot to sit. The nice thing is it's covered, so if it rains, it's a covered theater. It's outside, you know, it's one of those theaters where you can actually be walking by and see it. But yeah, it does fill up, especially opening night. So if that's something you want to be comfortable and sit to watch the whole hour show, you'd want to make sure you are
And
there.
I tried for the dinner and there were no available dinners, so.
Okay, so that's sold out.
Unless you have it already, yeah.
Yep, awesome.
You wanna be in line.
Well, for those of us that are not going,
Yeah.
is this gonna be recorded?
I'm hoping, last time I had a mom who had a really nice camera and she recorded it and put it on YouTube. I can still find the video. So I'm hoping that we have someone who can do that. I have to be backstage with the kids, so I won't be able to do that. So if there is a parent going along who has a video camera or has a nice camera and wants to take pictures, that would be
Are
awesome.
we gonna do a Facebook thing like
And
we've
we
done
did
in
a
the past?
Facebook page last time too where the kids can upload photos, adults can upload photos, and that way you can kind of see what's going on. And then they can go back and take those pictures off of there as well if they need them for their scrapbooks or anything like that. Yeah.
You didn't
Diane.
really say, but I'm assuming instruments will also be
good question.
Yep. With the
The
uniforms.
band instruments and the band uniforms will all go under, they'll actually probably all go under 2 buses. And then all the luggage will go on like another 2 buses. We're taking 6 or 5.
5.
It is time for her to go home and go to bed.
It's been a long day.
So, what was it, 5?
It's 5.
5 buses. So they'll strategically place like band instruments and uniforms on one bus, and then luggage on another bus, or maybe the other 3. So, and that again, all will be inspected in here Friday night, locked in here till Sunday, and then loaded in the buses Sunday
Do
morning.
you really have to inspect their band instruments? My freshman year in high school, kid snuck the brandy in his tube of his bell. Just saying.
So, it's always a tuba player, Waldart.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait till the
Hi,
end of the
Ann.
mention about photos. Could you tell people what you told me about that extra Disney thing that
Yes.
they have to do?
No.
But I explained it, but I don't think I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, so I will let your kids know once I figure it out
Oh,
completely.
okay.
It's called Magic Maker. Photo Memory Maker? Memory Maker. So basically, you can drop $150. Okay, it's a lot of money, but you can also share it. So what you do is you get an account, and then it said on when I was looking at it yesterday. So my family's going along on this trip, so my sisters are like, well, we should share one of these. So apparently, you can get this number, and then when you go into Disney, you get a little card if they take your picture. And then you can say, I have a Memory Maker account. So my sister-in-law did this years ago and shared it with another lady that wasn't on her trip, but they just had linked up somewhere on some site. And they had the same number. So there were half of the pictures were people she didn't know, and then she printed half that she did. You have them on the site for 45 days, okay? So my sister-in-law said that they would take pictures of her kids going like this, and she was like, well, that's weird. But then when they got them, Tinkerbell was in her hand. Okay, so, or you'll be standing there as a family and they strategically put the castle next to you. So there's some really, really nice shots. So when you go on that website that the kids all signed up for, there is a spot that says that, and it says your whole family can have photos on here. You can, upload more than one number. So your whole group could be in there. So we're gonna play with that a little bit. I wanna make sure before I tell the kids to do that, that it actually works. Because I don't want a whole bunch of kids dropping $150. But if like 10 kids went in together, one parent could pay for it, and it would, if you have 10 kids, or 15 kids, it's $10 a kid. It's a nice
And
feature.
you said that if they go up to a character, they get beat by the card, and then they take the character picture.
Yeah, so they give you a little card. It works with the band, but not with ours.
Oh.
Because ours are room keys only. So if you booked a Disney vacation in the past, you get these nice little bands. They look like Fitbits, okay? So a normal vacation, like if I took my family there, I could have my credit card on there. So when I go up, and my character meals on there, my Fastpasses are on there, my tickets, everything is on that band, okay? Because we're a school trip, they don't want kids charging things, which I think is a great thing. So really, the only thing on their band is their room key. So when they go up, it opens their door, okay? If they lose it, there's no number on there, their name's on the inside, as I understand. So our trip's a little bit different that way. So you get little cards from them, or maybe it gives us a number or something, and then you say, hey, this is my account, and then they take a picture or scan it, and then your pictures go into that account. You have 45 days to download them and print them, and then they disappear.
They also,
Like magic.
they also include the ride photos.
Yeah.
Like what you usually have to buy when you're going down the roller coaster
Yep.
or whatever. Those are also included.
So if you like that kind of thing, Tower of Terror, you want to see your kid, okay, it's there. Okay, so we're gonna try to buy one for, like I said, my sisters are going along for our whole family and see if that works. So I thought I'll try that first and be the guinea pig, and if it costs me $150, I'd rather do that than have your, you know what I mean, and say, hey, it actually worked. They were able to link into this thing as well. Okay? Yeah.
Will they be taking any pictures then of like dance performance or anything? Or
Usually it's just parents who do, and then they post them on that
Yeah.
Facebook page, or,
Or they'll throw it up on YouTube.
yeah.
But then we would probably, send a link on the Facebook page of that YouTube video. Because somebody did get some great footage of the band marching last time we were down there.
We didn't get very much footage of the singing. That was, well, we do anything for attention.
It was the band.
They didn't get much in the way of pictures, anybody, of
Right.
the people singing. That was, kind of, I think the parents were like really far back.
Yeah.
You are ways away from the singers if
Yeah.
you don't get really up close to
So
them.
if anybody has a really nice camera and wants to, take those pictures, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, if I need to go shopping and buy one, I'll take one for the team.
Mary?
Don't tell Judd.
Mary?
I was wondering, I thought somebody said that the ticket
Nope.
I don't think so. I think they're only a room key, from what I understand. Nope. No, we asked them to stay in at least two.
Yeah.
Always have a partner with them. So the really nice thing about Disney is that this, and with cell phones, is it's really changed this whole dynamic. So we used to take kids, and if they get hurt or lost or anything, they can find anybody with a name tag, a cast member, and say, hey, I'm lost, or I don't feel very good, and they'll take them to a first aid station right away. We divvy up the responsibility. So I'll say, hey, you guys, I'll call in on the hour today. Okay. Or Dave will say, I'll take the afternoon, I'll take the morning. So there's a number that we have in our phones, and it'll say, no directors are needed at this time. Awesome. Okay. Or if a director from West Salem would please check into the Magic Kingdom First Aid Station. I had that happen once, and all it was we gave a kid ibuprofen. Thank you. All right. They had the binder with that sheet that said your child had permission to get ibuprofen, and then they let us know that they did that, so that way we were able to record that in our records. Okay.
Speaking of
yeah.
ibuprofen, could I step in there?
Yeah.
So on one of the medical sheets that you have, it lists, I don't know, like 6 or 7 over-the-counter medications that are available. And if you want to, you can do one of two things. You can send a brand new sealed bottle of any or all of that medication, or you can pay $1, and our wonderful new nurse is going to have those medications available on each of the buses. So if your kid gets bus sick and needs a Dramamine, or maybe ate some bad fruit and needs an Imodium or whatever, those medications are available, but you need to pay $1 for that.
And give them permission to.
And then give them permission on that form. And you can cross out, well, my kid can take ibuprofen, but he can't take acetaminophen. Cross that one out so we know we can't give that one.
And that's happened where they'll come up and they're like, can I get a Dramamine? And I'll look in the book. I looked in the book and I'm like, sorry.
Mom said no, sorry.
When do we pay that $1? Do we pay?
When you turn your form in, please.
So we just send it with the.
Send a
You
dollar
can-
with the form.
With the
Yep.
form in a sealed envelope and their name in the box.
The box.
What happens if your child loves roller coasters but needs the Dramamine before they go on them? I mean, how
They
would
should-
be?
They need to see us
chaperone.
before we leave the
Before we leave the
hotel.
hotel.
So would you be able to give them like 2 pills, one for the morning and one for the afternoon, or are they gonna have to find a chaperone in between?
They could, I mean, let's be honest, they could just buy it at Disney.
We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know.
It's over the counter medication.
So yeah, it's an OTC.
I think
But-
we can legally only give them one.
Yeah.
One a day?
Is that right?
No, one per
One at a
visit,
time.
one at a time.
They just
So like in the morning, they can only come and get one from us. They can't get one now and one for later.
Okay, so if they wanted one for later, they're gonna have to purchase it down.
Purchase it or find one of us or
find one of
make
us.
some, or have their
Or
friend
go to
come and
first
get
aid.
one.
Or go to first aid.
Yeah, first aid would have it too, and they would
Wow.
know what they could have.
You really just taught them to circumvent the system.
I'm tired.
Why don't you go sit back down?
It's on video, I'm just saying. Okay, so back to the question about the kids.
Take 2.
So, like, in the morning, they'll have to check out with their chaperone, and then the cell phone has really changed it, because what they can do now is text, I need a text from you guys at noon, just knowing where you are. You know, hey, we decided to go to Hollywood Studios and ride Tower of Terror 20 times. Awesome. See you later.
mean-
There are kids who do that. They don't want to go to all the parks, and I'm like, okay, whatever makes you tick. Awesome, okay? But, so we'll ask them to check in with their chaperones. That way we know that the cell phone has changed everything, because you can send a text like that. And
Well,
we know
and
they're good.
some parents, are you going to check in with the kids every hour? You can't, because they'll be
wait
in
in line.
they'll be in line at Space Mountain for an hour and a half just to ride the ride, and also they're like, we have to go check in with the chaperone. Like, no, you can't do that. So we just can't. And Disney, like she said, is very safe. There's plainclothes security all over the place. There's people with that have the badge on, but they're all over the place. They really can't get hurt at Disney unless you're not.
Probably safer than walking downtown.
Yeah. A lot of people, how many of you have had a kid go with us before? Did you feel safe? You feel like we've done it right with your kids? You know? Yeah. Okay.
There's also there's an
Okay, and
extra
your stuff
fee
that
if you
needs-
want us to leave them there.
Yeah.
Because really, a 98% here is an A+. So if we come back with 2% less kids, we have still succeeded.
We're winners. Okay.
Just saying.
Um,
Let's do the math on that.
trying to think what else. Yeah.
I've been a chaperone on on the New York trip, and I would say that would be more scarier than
In New
this
York.
one.
Yeah.
But the kids, when they're not with you, they are very cautious of their surroundings. They are they really keep an eye on each other. So you won't see it here. But there, they're like together like a pack, and they're counting off just like on the buses. When they count off on the buses, when they get there, they're in a group and they're already counting each other off. So they are responsible. I know it's hard to believe, but
We've asked them, you know, when we get back, we survey the kids, what'd you like, you know, and what did you learn on this trip? Time management is a big one. You know, you wait in line, so you learn patience. Yeah, you gotta wait 2 hours to get something. You know, with technology, we don't always have to do that. And then I knew I had to be there at Epcot at 4 o'clock, and it took us the first 3 days an hour to get anywhere, so we had to leave by noon. So those are great life skills that they're picking up too, you know what I mean? And just that you need to stay in groups, or that you need to ask for help. You know, those are all things that you think, oh, really? You got that from, yeah, I got lost, or, you know, I didn't know how to get on this bus, so I had to ask somebody. Ooh, you know, okay, that's what you do in the real world when you're lost. You go to someone, not always with a name tag, okay? And then we will talk to your kids too about being safe. You know, yep, they are really hot guys. You're never gonna see them again. It doesn't matter how cute you are, the chances of you hooking up with, just don't. Just stay with your friends. Stay with your groups. This is your magical vacation, okay? So let's you know, stay together.
The other thing we really drive home, and if you could probably help us with this too, is they need to eat and drink. Because invariably, the first aid call is so-and-so doesn't feel well. And then I go in and talk to so-and-so. Did you eat breakfast this morning? No. Go eat something and drink some water. Call me in an hour. And I walk away. Guess what? They magically get better when they eat something and drink some water. So just trying to drive that point home. I just checked it out. If we come back with 3.6 less kids, that's an A+.
The half a kid might.
That might be an issue.
Now, with that being said, you know, we don't allow the use of alcohol and drugs on the trip, obviously, you know. So parents, well, what happens if my kid breaks the rules? Okay, well, if it's something like that, we had a kid shoplift a few years ago. There were plainclothes people all over the place a while ago. So it was a shot glass. The kid had to spend the entire day with security. They gave up a whole day at Universal Studios to sit next to a security guard, and then their chaperone, they released him to their chaperone, and we were able to bring him back. And the kid didn't get to spend any time with their friends, so they actually sat with the chaperone all the way, every meal, slept next to the chaperone. It really wasn't that enjoyable. Nothing wrong with the chaperone, it's just you don't get to be with your friends. And then the kid was suspended when we returned. Because it's a school trip, and you tarnish the name of West Salem High School in the music department. And we tell the kids this up front, okay? If your child gets arrested by the police department, underage drinking, selling or using drugs, you will need to come get your child. So you need to have that talk with them, because we are not making the entire trip wait for a kid who's being processed at the Orlando Police Department. Okay? Have we ever had that happen? No. Okay? And we'll say to the kids, if you can't go a week without having a drink, you really need to, you talk to your parents to get some help. Okay? Adult chaperones, we don't drink on the trip. We're all legal drinking age, but we don't, you know what I mean? Because it's a kid trip. So we're going on this trip, and, you know, so we're going to follow the same rules that the kids do. We do allow adults to smoke. We found that it's much more enjoyable.
We had one lady try to quit on a trip. That did not go well.
For her, it was bad.
No, it was bad.
Yeah, that's a school board policy now, and just, yeah. And we don't want them, we'll just say, don't smoke in front of the kids. Go, you know, find a spot, have it, and come back and be happy. But, you know, so. Yeah, but you know what I mean? We model the same behavior for our kids. We don't need to, you know, to drink and stuff. We're just going to have a great time together, and, you know, so.
Magical time together.
Magical. So excited! Can't wait to go.
Rock and roller coaster goes 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds.
After breakfast. Yeah, that would be, I'm going to the Toy Story ride.
Any other questions at all?
If you see on the, if you see on the board under reminders, all of the forms need to come into the high school office by Wednesday, November 9th. And all prescribed medications that you need for the trip, needs to come to the high school office, and the nurse no later than the 16th. Because Jessica and Beth are gonna need time to sort that all and get the envelopes all ready and stuff for us. So those are important dates that you want for those forms that you got tonight.
Yeah.
Is there a limit on the number of passes?
Yep.
Yep.
During the day
one time you get to use your Fastpass, okay? And you have an hour to use it. You can reserve. Have you done your Fastpasses yet on your site? Okay, so you can go to the Fastpass button underneath the My Disney Experience, and it lets you pick a park, and it actually, you pick the date, and it'll say these are the hours at each of the parks. So on Wednesday, we told all of our kids choose Magic Kingdom because the band is marching that day. And so then you can click on morning, afternoon, and evening. You can't have a Fastpass overlap, and they're good for an hour. So for example, if it says Magic Kingdom, Dumbo the Flying Elephants at 9, and the next one is Peter Pan's Ride at 9:30. You can't pick those two because it's 9 to 10, okay? But you could pick maybe 10 to 11, okay? And then you can pick 3 of those, but they have to be in the same park. Then you say save, then you go to the next day, okay? And then you can say, oh, we want to go to Animal Kingdom that day. And it'll only give you what's available, so then you can click on times that work for that, okay? If you put that app on your phone, it'll remind you when we're there what your fast passes are today. After you've used your third one, you can take your ticket to a kiosk and it'll say, these are the fast passes we have available yet here today in this park, and you can get another one. Yep. Yep. And if you don't,
I just pulled up my account, and it'll show that I've booked, like, my girls are coming along with us. My 9-year-old has not stopped talking about the Haunted Mansion. So that's the first thing I did, and I got my fast pass right away Wednesday morning, 9:35. We're going on the Haunted Mansion.
yeah.
They're not getting rid of it. They're shutting it down shortly after we're there for renovation.
It's just, you might have to do it before October 22nd.
Oh, the
After
bands.
that, then people that stay off site.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you have a fast pass or your kids, do encourage them to do them before the 22nd, because what happens then is anybody not staying on Disney property can actually book all their fast passes, so there'll be less left. Okay. So we've had some kids who we were going through the accounts today have not accepted their invitations, and we had about 16 of them yesterday who were having difficulty. So we went back in and resubmitted their emails again and invited them, and I think almost all of them it worked. But we have a bunch that when we were going through, hey, look, this one didn't tell us that they didn't have, that they had a problem. So we found a whole list of them. And so we're like, we don't really know what the issue is, if they're just not paying attention, if they're not interested, because you don't have to have a fast pass. All a fast pass does is it makes you go to the front of the line. So when you wait, if I wait 2 hours for Splash Mountain and I get done, and now I have a fast pass at 1 o'clock and it's 1:15, so I have my hour to use it, I can go get on the flying elephants and not have to wait in line, you know? So there's a little, there's that moment where you're waiting in line, you're like, oh my gosh, and then there's a moment when you're like, I got a fast pass, you know? So they get to do that throughout the day. So that's kind of
fast passes can be used for shows too.
yeah,
not just rides.
rides.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yana.
So my friends, they mailed me a list, and they're like, we're gonna go to like this ride from 10:05 to
Yep.
it says like 10:05 to 11:25.
Okay.
I tried to like, I don't know, like book that pass and they didn't have the 10:05.
Okay, good question. So it didn't have the exact same time. We did the same thing. I have a cousin going along on the trip too, and she said, we're going to the Lion King show at this time. Okay, that's not a good example because that's a set time. We're gonna ride Splash Mountain at this time. And I said, oh, and hers was like at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We were able to get on it from 1:15 to 2:15. Does that make sense? So even though we didn't have the same time, our times overlap. So some of the kids can do that. So you could see what your friends have and then see if you can get a time that's close to that. Does that make sense? Even if it's the last 15 minutes, hey, we're gonna meet there at the last 15 minutes and we're all gonna ride that together. So it's really hard to try to book the exact same time because the computer does funny things with it. Does that make sense? Excellent. And then Yana brought up another good point. So Yana's got her roommates, but she doesn't have to go on all the rides with her roommates, right? So you can say, on this day, I've linked up with this group. Here's my daughter again. Wednesday, she's hanging out with our family, so she's on all of our fast passes. But she wasn't clicked on Thursday and Friday fast passes, so she has the right to do her own stuff and hang out with her friends. Does that make sense? So you can, we've got kids who said, yeah, on this day I'm gonna hang out with my roommates, and on this day I'm gonna hang out with my group of friends from drama, and on this day I'm gonna hang out with band kids because I'm in band and I'm not in choir, and the choir kids have to do spirit for it. So they were able to make those choices. Does that make sense? Do you have another question, Yana?
And then also next, like all my friends are in choir.
Yeah?
So on the day like choir kids are performing, would the band kids have to go to the choir performance?
We do ask them to attend the performance, at least one of them, and support each other. Yeah, and I ask the choir kids to go to the band performance. Yep. So there will be other people around, and you could say, hey, you guys, can I hang out with you while everyone else is doing the choir thing? Yep, and then you just kind of link up with another group. It doesn't matter if you have matching fast passes either, because if they say, hey, well, we have a fast pass for the big ball, I can't remember what that thing's called, right?
Golf ball.
So that the big golf ball. So you could say, okay, I'll just wait 10 minutes while you guys go in, because it's a fast pass, so it's kind of quick. You know what I mean? This morning there were a group of girls. One of them's not a thrill rider, so they were like, well, we're going to do our fast passes right away and get them done with. That way she doesn't have to wait long, and then we could spend the rest of our day together. Okay, that was cool. Good thing. Is there another question? I thought a second. Yeah. Nope. They would if you had your own family vacation, but for ours, they don't. The wristband is only a hotel key. They go to your little cards that I'm going to give you guys. Yep. We're also going to encourage your kids to take a picture of the back of their card. So if they lose it, they can go into the lost and found and say, I lost this.
And
My
they just
name
show
is
the
Amy
picture,
Henson.
and it's
Give me
kind
your
of
card.
scary because they'll go in and they'll show the picture and they're like, here's my card. And like, oh, I see you were at Epcot yesterday from 9:23 to 10:27. And it's kind of like, holy big brother, you know? And then they pump out a new ticket for you and they give it to you, but they know exactly where you were all the time.
Oh, that's spooky.
It is spooky.
We know so much about you guys. It's wonderful, right?
Is there Wi-Fi on the bus?
I think so.
No. No, that was an extra charge.
Was that
was an extra charge.
Okay.
Good
No.
question. Is there Wi-Fi on the bus? No. Data, yep, data roaming. Going through the Ozark Mountains. There's not a whole lot of service there. At least with Sprint. That's right. Sorry. And the 0.6 too, maybe. Any other questions?
Are you feeling good? Do you trust us? I mean, there's nothing you can do if you don't, I guess. We're taking them, right?
That's right. You can count on us. It's gonna be fun. We and the whole Fastpass thing is a little crazy. How to like link it all together, but I'm almost positive that I was part of a group that probably wrecked it for everybody because we figured out a system to get multiple Fastpasses at one time because they used to have a machine that you stuck the card in and then it would spit out your Fastpass, then it would know not to give you another Fastpass. Well, somebody went up there with a stack of 17 tickets, and the lady said, well, how many do you have? And he said 17, so she pumped out 17 Fastpasses and gave them to him. And he came back to me and he goes, I never ran the cards through the machine. Go get some more Fastpasses. We had 97 Fastpasses at one time. So we went rock and roller coaster, Tower of Terror. Rock and roller coaster, Tower of Terror. So, yeah. So now you can't.
That's right.
How do I get more benefits?
That's right.
We want them to trust us with their children. So,
Okay.
Someone asked before about how much money to send along. Maybe $100. I mean, it depends on how much your kids want to spend too once we get there. You know,
More than
Disney
that.
cards are great. Well, 40 on the way down if they're a $10 a meal kind of eater.
I
You
was
know
gonna
what I
say,
mean?
my kid eats
So.
$15 at McDonald's. 6 feet tall.
You know what I mean? So it's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good question.
Really up to you.
The prepaid debit cards are great. Because then, you know, if they don't lose them. Of course, then again, they're like, cash is like, oh, $20, ouch. Debit cards like $70, woo, done, you know. But the debit cards do work pretty well, the prepaid ones. But, Brad? I always carry cash. So I don't know.
Those Visa gift cards, for gas, or if you're at the gas station or at restaurants, they will hold so much money. So, yeah, if it's a gift card, it's not. I would do a debit card. They don't have so much into the.
Okay.
Okay.
Because then if she loses her.
I think there's an ATM at the hotel too. So if they have I feel like there's an ATM in the lobby last time. Yeah. So
Okay.
if they need to grab cash out each day, they probably would have that option.
And then if she doesn't do debit.
If you are flying,
Ask her to find
I will turn your information in. I haven't gotten through that part yet, but if you get in before 10 o'clock, the Disney Magic Express will pick you guys up, bring you It takes a little while because they got to stop at all the hotels, you know what I mean? But your luggage will be in your room when you get there. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. And then they'll pick you up, take you back to the airport. So you will get, I feel like last time we got the letters and sent them home with the kids, and it tells you exactly what to do. Because I was a little leery last time. We had some people flying. I'm like, oh, what if they don't get there? What are we going to do? And I was really impressed with how thorough that is. Walk off the turnpike, go to the right, or it's turnstile, go to the right. Go down the escalator to level 2. And when we flew to Orlando, I didn't fly last time, but we took our family on a trip, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's the Disney Magic Express. And Judd's like, yeah. You know, I was like, I didn't realize it would be that easy it's really that easy to find.
And then when you get to your room, your luggage is sitting there.
It's awesome. It's just really, really a nice feature. So if you get in after 10 o'clock, it does close at 10. I think it runs 7 to 10.
Just
So
the luggage part does.
the luggage part does, they'll
Buses
still
run
pick you up.
24 hours a day.
Awesome.
And the luggage doesn't come till about 4 hours after you've checked into the hotel.
Okay.
So it's not there when you get there.
My wife says because I unloaded them from the bus.
It comes later. It comes later, but you don't have to be in the room for them
Right.
to deliver the luggage.
They'll do the same thing with what you buy in the parks. So if your kids,
Yeah.
who was was it Garrett? We're talking about the big stuffed animal. He's like, so if I buy a really big Winnie the Pooh, I'm like, yeah, you could. You got to ride with that thing on the way home, though, right? So you got to think about that. But you can just say I'm in room 742 at All-Star Movie Resort, and they'll take it there for you. So that's a nice feature too when you stay on site.
I used that, I bought some fragile ornaments last time. And they're like, would you like us to leave this at the front gate or take it to your hotel? And I'm like, yeah.
It's a nice feature. Yeah.
It's gonna be a great trip, we leave in 40 days.
Well, I think what's the best way to reach, if we need to reach our staff or something, and let's say they're not answering their cell phone, will we get numbers, your guys' numbers, or will we know at some point which chaperone is going to be with them, or no?
I missed the question.
She just, the question was, will they get our phone numbers if they can't reach their child?
No way.
No.
I'm sorry, did I answer that too? Especially not you.
I guess I've never given my number out before, so.
Yeah.
They can find their chaperones named by the bus, like the children are listed underneath their
Right.
chaperones on the bus list.
And we're gonna ask our chaperones to share numbers with their groups, so, yeah, I don't know, I guess I would just tell your kid to pick up the phone, or be patient, they might be on a ride and unable to pick it up at that point
Right.
too. But, yeah, we haven't really had
If they
that.
don't secure it on the rocket roller coaster, it'll end up at the bottom of the ride. You look down there and you can just see hundreds of stuff at the bottom of that ride.
All right, are we good? I don't wanna waste your time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great trip, you guys, your kids are just fantastic.
They'll be safe.
We're excited to take them.
We should tell you that every trip we go on, we get stopped and pulled aside by people at restaurant, workers and managers at restaurants that say, your students are so amazingly polite and so nice. Like, they expect the place to be trashed when it's done, and it's not. Our kids pick up after themselves. They're really polite to people, and we get stopped all the time and said, make sure you tell your kids how great they were. So,
The bus drivers
Happens
love
all-
driving for us. We never
Yep.
get trained. I mean, and yes, every now and again, one will make a mistake. We fix it. We try to find a humorous way to do it. We had one, I don't know if I told you guys the story, but we had a trip years ago, and there were boys in the back of the bus eating sunflower seeds. It's fine. But they left the seed all over the floor. And so Dave finds out who it is. I think it was on your bus.
Yeah, it
And
was.
so the next night, he makes the kids come out and clean it up. And then the next night, he says to everybody on the bus, hey, I can't remember what the name of the kid was, but Adam, let's just use as a made up name. Had a little difficulty last night picking up his stuff, so I want to make sure he knows not to do that again. Can you all leave your garbage on the floor so he can clean the bus when you leave? And all the kids dumped everything and left. And it took Adam about a half hour to clean the whole bus, but Adam, I don't think he sneezed the rest of the trip. Okay? So it's we make, it's not like we're going to belittle your children or, If they are disrespectful, we will have a little meeting with them. And that is not tolerated to any adults and stuff. We've rarely had that happen.
Rarely.
The kids are at Disney World. We're there to have a good time. We're all in this, just to get back together and just spend a great holiday performing. So it's nothing that we're really worried about. So you do a great job with your kids. You guys have done good work. Just remind them, be respectful, be kind, you know what I mean? Because we have a reputation, and that's something we want to uphold. And we'll have the same
Remind
time.
them to pick up when they come back home then.
Actually, and we will say to them, you should thank your parents, because
Yeah.
probably 99% of you, your parents paid for this trip. Okay? And it's a lot of money.
well,
It is a lot of money. Okay? So yeah, we will totally,
let's plug real quick if we can. Quick Trip. If you're not selling Quick Trip, And if you have a kid now that's thinking about going to New York, you can start pumping that in there. We started this thing in February of 2014. We are over $600,000 in sales in Quick Trip. So, you know, we're pushing $1 million, and like, that's easy money. 'Cause I'd write a $500 check every month, and I use that for breakfast and milk and gas and all that stuff, and my kids going to Florida on it. So, but we are, Kelly's already got it set up for New York, so.
Quick Trip orders due tomorrow by 3:30 in the box, and they can start earning money now. Those that are upperclassmen, it can go towards their senior trip. We take the seniors every year to see a show. It can go towards show choir for those kids that are in show choir, or they can start fundraising now for New York with Quick Trip. High school students.
Awesome.
Have a great
Go team. Team Disney.